Have you ever looked at someone and wondered what they were thinking? Maybe you were in a conversation and you felt something was off. Their words said one thing, but their eyes told another story. My friend, if you could truly understand what someone thinks, what they feel, and what they want, your life would completely change. You would communicate better. You would build deeper relationships. You would avoid manipulation. And most importantly, you would know who truly deserves a place in your life. Now, most people believe that reading minds is some mysterious gift that only magicians or psychologists can do. But here's the truth. You can read someone's mind too. Not by magic, but by asking the right questions. In this video, you'll discover 5 powerful questions that can reveal a person's real thoughts, emotions, and hidden motives. These questions are simple, but when used correctly, they can help you understand anyone at a deep level. Stay with me until the end, because the last question can even help you understand yourself. And once you understand yourself, you'll never again be confused about people. So, let's begin. The truth about people. Everyone wears a mask. Before we go into the 5 questions, you must understand one simple but deep truth. Most people wear masks every day. People wear masks not because they want to lie or hurt others, but because they want to survive, belong, and feel safe. You meet someone at work and they smile, but inside they feel tired. You sit with a friend who laughs, but at night they hide tears. You watch a stranger post perfect pictures on social media and you do not see the long hours, the fear, or the lonely mornings behind those pictures. These masks can be small. A polite phrase, a forced laugh, a brave face. And they can be large. A whole life shaped by pretending. When you begin to accept this truth, your eyes start to open. You stop thinking that everyone shows all of themselves at once. Instead, you learn that people select parts of themselves to show. They choose the parts that feel safe, useful, or approved. They hide the parts that feel weak, shameful, or dangerous. That is why listening to only the words someone uses is not enough. A person can speak the truth of the moment and still hide the main story. To read someone's mind, you must gently look for what is missing from their speech. Notice what topics they change quickly, what stories they avoid, and which memories make them quiet. You will find clues in their pauses and in the things they insist on telling you. You will find the real story in what they never say. Learning to hear the unsaid does not happen in one conversation. It happens over time, with patience, with small questions asked at the right moments, and with a calm heart. If you rush people or push for secrets, the mask will only harden. But if you show kindness and steady presence, the mask will sometimes slip on its own. You will see how a simple question about a childhood memory can make someone's expression change, and in that change, you will understand more than they intended to reveal. Remember also that masks are not always negative. Many masks protect people from old wounds. Some keep dignity when life is hard. Some allow people to keep working even when they are afraid. Respect the mask as you try to see the human beneath it. Do not use what you learn to punish or embarrass. Instead, use it to bring the person nearer to safety or to decide wisely how close you want to be. Learning to read the signs behind the mask will sharpen your judgment. You will become better at choosing friends, partners, and colleagues who match your values. You will be less surprised by betrayal and less confused by mixed signals. You will learn to ask questions that help people feel seen, not exposed. And you will learn another vital thing. The clearest way to see others is to know your own mask. We all wear one. We all perform roles. We all hide fears. When you can name your own habit of pretending, you stop projecting your needs and expectations onto others. You stop assuming they must always perform for you. From that place of honest self-knowledge, you will ask questions with curiosity rather than with accusation. You will listen with an open heart rather than with a plan to score points. This kind of listening invites truth out of people gently, and it invites meaning into your life. So now, with patience and care, let us move forward. The 5 questions that follow are not tricks or tests. They are respectful doors. Each question helps you look behind a different part of the mask: anger, pride, fear, desire, and identity. And each gives you a way to meet another human being more truly. Question 1. What makes you angry? This is one of the most powerful questions you can ever ask someone, and one of the most revealing ones too. When you ask a person what makes them angry, you are not just asking about their emotions. You are asking about their values, about what they care about deeply, and about what kind of world they want to live in. You see, anger is not random. It never comes from nowhere. It always comes from a place of meaning. When something touches our values, our beliefs, or our sense of justice, we react emotionally. That emotion is anger. Not because we are bad or weak, but because we care. Anger shows us what we love, what we protect, and what we are afraid to lose. Let me explain more deeply. Think of the last time you felt angry. Maybe someone disrespected you. Maybe someone broke a promise. Maybe you saw injustice in the world. That moment of anger was not just a reaction. It was a message from your inner self saying, "This is important to me." For example, when a person gets angry because someone lies to them, that anger comes from a deep respect for honesty. They value truth, and when truth is broken, they feel pain. Another person may get angry when ignored, not because they are weak, but because they value connection and respect. Being ignored feels like being invisible, and their anger is their soul's way of saying, "I matter too." Someone else may get angry when another person wastes time. That reveals that they value discipline, focus, and purpose. To them, time is sacred, and wasting it feels like disrespecting life itself. So, when you ask someone, "What makes you angry?" you are not searching for drama or gossip. You are searching for meaning. You are listening for the principles that guide their life, the rules they live by, and the moral lines they will not cross. The answer to this question tells you what kind of person they are beneath the surface. It tells you what they defend with passion and what they fear losing. It shows you their emotional priorities, their inner structure. That is why this simple question is like holding a mirror to their soul. It reflects back their personal truth. In a relationship, this question can reveal everything you need to know about compatibility. If what makes one person angry is dishonesty, and the other often hides the truth, conflict will always exist. If one person values peace and the other thrives on chaos, their anger will constantly clash. But if both value the same things, like respect, loyalty, or growth, their anger will protect the same goals. they will fight less against each other and more for each other. At work, this question shows what kind of teammate or leader someone will be. A person who gets angry when deadlines are missed probably values order and professionalism. A person who gets angry when they see unfair treatment values justice and equality. A person who gets angry when ignored in meetings values recognition and teamwork. These insights help you understand how to communicate with them, how to motivate them, and how to avoid unnecessary conflicts. And in friendship, this question helps you know whether your values align. Some friends may get angry about small things because they are easily threatened. Others may get angry only when they see deep injustice. Observing what triggers a person's anger tells you how deep their mind is and what kind of life they want to live. But here's the key. When you ask this question, do it calmly, not during an argument. If you ask while emotions are already high, the person will defend themselves instead of revealing the truth. Ask when the mood is peaceful, when you can both think clearly. Then, look beyond their words. The truth often hides in the eyes, in the tone, in the small pauses between sentences. Sometimes people will tell you one story, but their face will tell another. And here's something powerful to remember. When people talk about what makes them angry, they are showing you not their worst side, but their most honest side. Anger is one of the few emotions that does not pretend. It is raw, unfiltered, and real. When a person speaks about their anger, they are exposing their emotional core, even if they don't realize it. In those moments, they accidentally show who they really are, what they stand for, and what they cannot stand against. So, if you truly want to read someone's mind, learn to listen to their anger. Not to judge it, but to understand it. Ask them, what makes you angry? And listen like a mirror without reaction. You'll start to see that behind every spark of anger is a principle. Behind every loud word is a wound, and behind every frustrated sigh is a story waiting to be understood. Anger is not your enemy. It's your guide. It is the map that leads to a person's values. And when you can see what a person defends with emotion, you will finally begin to read not just their mind, but their heart. Question 2. What are you most proud of? This question may seem simple on the surface, but it goes far deeper than most people realize. When you ask someone, what are you most proud of? You're not just asking about their achievements. You're asking about the foundation of their self-worth. You are touching the part of them that defines their identity, their confidence, and their reason for feeling valuable in this world. Every human being, no matter how quiet, humble, or modest they appear, carries a secret source of pride, something they look back on and think, that's who I am. That's what makes me special. When people answer this question, listen carefully to both their words and their emotions. Pride reveals the heart of a person's ego, not in a negative sense, but in the sense of what gives them inner strength. If someone says, I'm proud that I take care of my family, they value responsibility, loyalty, and love. If they say, I'm proud that I never gave up, even when life got hard, they value persistence, resilience, and mental strength. And if they say, I'm proud that I always tell the truth, it shows they value integrity and courage. Every answer reveals a value system, a mental code that directs how that person lives and interacts with others. This question is powerful in building deep relationships because it helps people open up emotionally. When someone talks about what makes them proud, they're not just sharing a story. They're sharing their soul. You'll notice their body language change, their tones soften, their eyes light up. It's as if you've given them permission to celebrate who they are without fear of judgment. In that moment, you're not just having a conversation, you're creating emotional safety. People crave that feeling. To be understood, to be appreciated, to be seen for the good they've done in their lives. But here's what makes this question even more fascinating. Pride and pain are often connected. What someone is proud of is usually something they had to struggle for. A person who says, "I'm proud that I raised my children alone," has likely faced loneliness, sacrifice, and strength born out of hardship. A person who says, "I'm proud that I built my business from nothing," probably went through years of failure and rejection. That means behind every proud statement, there's a hidden story of pain, effort, and growth. If you listen with empathy, you'll begin to see that what gives people pride is also what once tested their limits. There's another layer to this question. Once you know what makes someone proud, you also learn what can deeply wound them. Because the opposite of pride is shame. If a person's pride comes from being independent, they may feel hurt when someone calls them weak or needy. If their pride comes from being kind, they may feel crushed if accused of being selfish. Understanding what gives a person pride allows you to handle their emotions with care. It helps you avoid accidentally stepping on their sense of worth. So, when you ask this question, don't rush. Let silence do the work. Allow them to think, to remember, to connect with their inner world. Sometimes people will struggle to answer at first, not because they have nothing to be proud of, but because they've never been asked to reflect on it. In that quiet moment, when they finally speak, you'll often hear something beautiful, a truth about what truly matters to them. And when they share, don't interrupt. Listen with genuine curiosity. People can feel when you are truly interested. The more you listen, the more they will reveal. You'll learn about their values, their motivations, and their emotional triggers, all from one simple question. Ultimately, asking, "What are you most proud of?" is not about collecting information. It's about creating understanding. It's about seeing the world through someone else's eyes. Because when you know what a person is proud of, you understand what gives them meaning. You see what fuels their confidence, what shapes their decisions, and what drives their behavior. And once you know that, you don't just read their mind. You connect with their heart. Question 3. What do you fear the most? Now we reach the most sensitive and revealing layer of the human mind: fear. You can never truly understand a person until you understand what they fear. Fear is not just an emotion. It is a doorway to the soul. It exposes our insecurities, our past wounds, and the limits of our courage. Every human being, no matter how strong they appear on the outside, carries silent fears inside. Some fears are obvious: fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of loss. But others are hidden: fear of being forgotten, fear of being unworthy, fear of never being loved. These are the invisible forces that shape our choices, our words, and even our relationships. When you ask someone, "What do you fear the most?" You are not asking for a casual answer. You are asking for a confession. Most people won't reveal it easily because fear is the most vulnerable truth a person can share. It takes deep trust for someone to say, "I'm scared of being alone," or "I'm afraid of not being good enough." That's why this question should never be asked lightly. It should come from genuine care and understanding. When someone finally opens up about their fears, they are showing you the most fragile part of themselves, the part they usually keep hidden behind strength, humor, or confidence. Fear is powerful because it silently controls our lives. People make decisions not only based on dreams, but also based on fears. Someone who fears rejection might avoid expressing their feelings. Someone who fears failure may never take the first step toward success. Someone who fears judgment might live their entire life pretending to be someone they're not. And someone who fears losing others may hold on to toxic relationships just to avoid the pain of being alone. When you understand what a person fears, you begin to understand why they do what they do. Their patterns make sense. Their walls make sense. Even their silence begins to make sense. Let's look at a few examples. If a man says, "I fear failure," it means his self-worth is deeply tied to achievement. He probably grew up being praised only when he succeeded. If a woman says, "I fear losing people I love," it means relationships are her emotional foundation. She feels safe only when connected. And if someone says, "I fear being judged," it likely means they've faced rejection before and now protect themselves from it by staying quiet or distant. Every fear hides a story of pain, rejection, or loss. When you listen carefully, you will hear the story behind the fear. Knowing someone's fear gives you deep insight into their personality. It helps you see what drives them, what stops them, and what they secretly wish to overcome. But it also gives you a great responsibility. You must never use someone's fear against them. You must never mock, manipulate, or take advantage of it. That kind of betrayal breaks the human spirit. Instead, use this knowledge to show compassion. When someone shares their fear with you, it means they trust you enough to show their unguarded side. Protect that trust. Offer understanding, not solutions. Sometimes people don't want advice. They just want to feel safe admitting what scares them. And remember this: fear doesn't always mean weakness. Often, fear is a sign of deep care. People fear losing what they love. They fear failing at what matters most. They fear not being enough because they truly want to make a difference. So when you look at someone's fear, don't judge it, understand it. Behind fear, there is usually love. Behind hesitation, there is usually hope. The beauty of asking, "What do you fear the most?" is that it builds connection through vulnerability. When someone answers honestly, they reveal their humanity. They stop pretending to be perfect, and you see the real person. Imperfect, emotional, but beautifully real. In that moment, you don't just read their mind, you touch their heart. So, if you truly want to understand people, not just their actions but their souls, learn to ask about their fears. Listen with kindness. Respond with care. Because when someone feels safe to show you their fears, they are not giving you weakness. They are giving you trust. And in that trust lies the foundation of the deepest human connection. Question 4. What do you want most in life? Now we come to a question that cuts straight to the core of a person's journey. What do you want most in life? This is the question that reveals direction, purpose, and intention. Every human being, whether they admit it or not, walks through life chasing something. A hidden goal that shapes their decisions, their habits, and even their relationships. Some people want love above all else. Others crave success, wealth, or recognition. Some quietly desire peace and simplicity, while others long only to be understood and accepted for who they are. When you ask this question, you are asking someone to lift the veil and show you their dreams, their ambitions, and the life they are quietly building for themselves. Dreams are powerful because they expose the blueprint of a person's soul. They reveal what motivates them when no one is watching, what risks they are willing to take, and what sacrifices they might endure. If someone answers, "I just want to be happy," it often signals that they have experienced enough pain or loss to know the value of peace. Happiness, in this sense, becomes a goal not of laziness, but of survival and hope. If someone says, "I want to make money," it may seem simple on the surface, but underneath, it often speaks to a desire for freedom, security, or control over their life. And if a person says, "I want to help others," that reveals purpose, compassion, and a sense of mission. Each answer paints a picture of the life they are trying to build, consciously or unconsciously. But here is an important truth. Many people will not answer this question directly. Some may say, "I don't know," or "I just go with the flow." Do not be fooled. This is not a harmless statement. A person who does not know what they truly want often drifts through life without focus. They may follow the opinions of others, succumb to pressure, or make choices based on convenience rather than intention. Living without clarity leads to reactive living, where life seems to happen to you rather than because of you. On the other hand, a person who knows what they want moves differently. They set priorities, make plans, and align their daily actions with long-term goals. They are driven, not aimless. They live with purpose, not by accident. By asking this question, you can immediately see who is building their life intentionally and who is simply drifting along. There is another layer to this question, one that connects deeply to motivation and trust. When you ask someone what they want most, you are inviting them to show their vulnerability. Dreams are precious, and not everyone is willing to share them openly. Some people fear judgment, ridicule, or rejection. When someone does answer honestly, it signals trust. They are allowing you to see what gives their life meaning, what fuels their actions, and what excites them even in the quiet moments of life. That honesty creates connection. You begin to see not just the surface, but the engine behind the choices, the efforts, and the emotions of the person in front of you. And here's the motivational truth for you, my friend. You cannot read others clearly until you are clear within yourself. This is not just a question for observation. It is a question for self-reflection. Ask yourself, what do I want most in life? If your answer is vague, unclear, or missing, then your interactions with others will be clouded. You will project your confusion onto their answers. But when you have clarity about your own goals, desires, and purpose, you gain confidence. Confidence gives you direction. Direction gives you peace. And with that clarity, you not only understand yourself better, but you also understand the people around you with greater insight. So, when you ask, "What do you want most in life?" listen carefully, observe the hesitation, the excitement, and even the fear in the answer. This question reveals not just a person's goals, but the essence of how they navigate life. It shows whether they are moving with intention or merely floating in the currents. And as you ask this question of yourself, you begin a journey toward self-mastery, understanding, and the ability to connect with others in a meaningful, motivational, and transformative way. Knowing what someone wants most in life is like holding a map to their inner world. And that map can guide your actions, your trust, and your relationships in ways nothing else can. Question 5. Who do you want to become? Now we arrive at the final and most powerful question. The question that reaches past desires, fears, and ego and lands straight at the heart of the soul. Who do you want to become? While most people are focused on what they want to have, a house, money, a relationship, or recognition, very few pause to consider who they truly want to become. This question separates dreamers from achievers because it forces a person to think beyond immediate gratification and consider the long-term creation of their identity. It is easy to talk about what you want to acquire, but far more revealing to talk about who you aspire to be. When you ask this question of someone, you are inviting them to envision their best self, the person they hope to embody in the future. The answers to this question tell you more about a person's mindset, values, and maturity than any other question. If someone says, "I want to become respected," you immediately understand that recognition and social validation are powerful motivators for them. If someone says, "I want to become peaceful," you know that they are seeking healing, balance, and perhaps freedom from past struggles. If someone says, "I want to become successful," you can see that growth, achievement, and self-mastery drive their actions. Unlike questions about possessions, pride, or fear, this question illuminates the internal compass that guides their life. The values and principles that they hope will define their character in the long term. You are no longer just learning about what they want, but about who they are shaping themselves to be. But here is the most important truth. The power of this question is not limited to hearing someone else's answer. Its true value comes when you ask it of yourself. Because the moment you pause and honestly ask, "Who do I want to become?" your mind wakes up. You stop blaming your circumstances, your past, or the people around you. You stop playing the victim or drifting passively through life. Instead, you start thinking consciously about the person you are becoming through every choice, every habit, and every attitude. This question forces self-reflection, accountability, and intentional living. It reminds you that your future is being written right now, with every small decision you make today. Ask yourself questions like, who am I becoming through my habits, through my daily routines, through my interactions with others, through the way I manage my time, my energy, and my emotions? Every action you take contributes to the formation of your future self, whether consciously or unconsciously. When you live with awareness of the person you want to become, you begin to act differently. You no longer waste your energy on shallow conversations, toxic relationships, or meaningless opinions. You choose actions that align with your vision, and you prioritize people and experiences that support your growth. When you use this question to understand others, You see through the masks they wear without judgment. You understand not just who they are today, but the trajectory of who they hope to become. You gain insight into their motivations, their struggles, and their priorities. This understanding fosters empathy and deeper connections because you are no longer interacting only with the surface version of a person. You are interacting with their potential, their dreams, and their true intentions. Ultimately, who do you want to become is a question that bridges self-awareness and understanding others. It teaches you to live consciously while providing a lens to see people more clearly. It encourages intentional action, personal growth, and authentic relationships. When you ask this question of yourself daily, you stop drifting. You stop wasting time on distractions and illusions. And when you ask it of others, you gain a window into their minds, hearts, and journeys. This is the final key to reading someone's mind. The combination of understanding yourself and observing the person before you allows you to navigate life with clarity, purpose, and compassion. It is not about control or manipulation. It is about seeing the world and the people in it more clearly and choosing wisely how to interact with the minds and hearts around you. The hidden lesson. Reading minds is really about awareness. Now that you know the 5 questions, it's time to step back and see the bigger picture. Many people think that reading minds is about power, about influence, or about controlling others. But that is a misunderstanding. The true purpose of learning to read someone's mind is awareness. It is about seeing clearly, understanding deeply, and responding wisely. Awareness allows you to navigate life without being trapped by illusions, without being manipulated, and without reacting to surface-level behaviors alone. It teaches you to observe the world with calm curiosity, rather than with judgment or fear. When you develop this kind of awareness, you stop being easily fooled by appearances. You stop believing that a smile always means happiness, or that confidence always means strength. You begin to notice the subtle signs, the hesitation in words, the flicker of emotion in the eyes, the patterns of behavior that reveal more than what is spoken. You start to understand why people act the way they do, instead of taking their actions personally. Manipulative people no longer hold the same power over you because you can see the motives behind their actions. Hurtful words no longer wound you in the same way because you understand the insecurity, fear, or pain that caused them. Awareness also brings compassion. You realize that angry people are rarely evil. They are often scared or protecting themselves. Proud people are not always arrogant. Many are covering wounds or insecurity. Silent people are not cold. They may simply be guarding their hearts from past pain. Understanding these truths allows you to interact with people without unnecessary conflict. It frees you from the frustration of misunderstanding and helps you respond from a place of calm, clarity, and kindness. When you view the world through this lens, you gain peace. You no longer take things personally because you understand that most actions are not about you. They are about the person behind the behavior. Every emotion, every reaction, every choice has a story, and awareness allows you to see that story. It allows you to see people for who they truly are, beyond the masks, beyond the words, and beyond the appearances. And that, my friend, is the real power of reading minds. It is not a tool for judgment, manipulation, or control. It is a tool for understanding. When you understand others deeply, you can love wisely, communicate clearly, and build stronger connections. Awareness transforms relationships, interactions, and even the way you see yourself. Reading minds is not about knowing everything. It is about seeing clearly enough to act with wisdom, empathy, and confidence. That is the ultimate gift of awareness. How to practice these 5 questions in daily life. Now that you understand the 5 questions, let's talk about how to apply them in everyday life. Knowing the questions is only the first step. The real skill comes from practicing them naturally in your conversations. Many people make the mistake of treating these questions like an interview, firing them all at once in a row. That approach doesn't work. People will feel interrogated, guarded, or even annoyed. The secret is subtlety. Use the questions gently in the flow of conversation, so they feel like a natural part of your interest and care for the other person. For example, when someone is talking about work or a recent achievement, you might say, "What's the part that makes you most proud?" This allows them to reflect on their values and accomplishments, and it opens a window into what motivates them. When someone is complaining or expressing frustration, gently ask, "What makes you angry about that?" It helps you understand the principles and boundaries that guide their reactions, and it often calms the conversation as they feel heard. When a friend seems worried, anxious, or down, ask softly, "What are you afraid might happen?" Fear is often unspoken, and this question gives them a safe space to reveal their insecurities and receive support. During deeper, more reflective conversations, you can ask, "What do you want most in life right now?" This invites the person to speak about their dreams, their direction, and their priorities. It helps you see whether they are moving with purpose or simply reacting to life around them. And when you wish to inspire someone or encourage them to think about personal growth, ask, "Who do you want to become?" This question helps both of you explore future possibilities, values, and the life they aspire to live. The key to practicing these questions is patience and observation. Each question is a door. Each answer gives insight into values, fears, pride, desires, and aspirations. Over time, as you integrate these questions naturally into your interactions, you will start to notice patterns in behavior, subtle cues, and unspoken truths. Conversations will stop being just about exchanging information. They will become an exchange of energy, a connection of attention, empathy, and understanding. When your presence is calm, attentive, and kind, people feel safe. They will share their truth without even realizing it. That is emotional intelligence. That is wisdom. The more you practice these questions with genuine curiosity and care, the more skilled you become at reading minds. Not in a manipulative way, but in a way that builds trust, understanding, and meaningful relationships. Over time, these 5 questions will transform the way you communicate, connect, and understand the people around you, making every interaction richer and more insightful. Final words. To know others. Know yourself. My friend, remember this truth forever. You can never understand people deeper than you understand yourself. The 5 questions you learned today are not just tools to read the minds of others. They are mirrors reflecting your own inner world. Each question invites self-reflection. Each answer reveals values, fears, and desires that are universal. To truly connect with others, you must first connect with yourself. Tonight, before you sleep, Take a moment and ask yourself honestly, what makes me angry? What am I proud of? What do I fear? What do I want most in life? And who do I want to become? These are not casual questions. They are the keys to seeing your own mind clearly, to understanding your motivations, your weaknesses, and your potential. When you answer these questions with honesty, something powerful happens. You stop looking to others to fill your emptiness. You stop trying to control situations or people just to feel safe. Instead, you begin to operate from a place of self-awareness, purpose, and calm strength. You become someone who walks through the world with clarity, someone who sees, understands, and cannot be easily fooled. This is the true meaning of reading minds. It is not about manipulation, gossip, or influence for selfish gain. It is about seeing truth in others and in yourself. The beauty of these 5 questions is that they are deceptively simple, yet their power is profound. People may forget the words you say, but they will never forget how you made them feel understood. When you ask questions with genuine curiosity and kindness, you create connection, trust, and openness. You gain insight into what drives people, what shapes their actions, and what they value most. And as your understanding grows, so does your ability to influence positively, lead wisely, and inspire meaningful change. Learning this art is about patience, empathy, and practice. Apply these questions with care, use them honestly, and observe without judgment. Over time, you will notice subtle shifts in your relationships. Conversations will become deeper, bonds stronger, and misunderstandings fewer. You will not only read minds, but hearts. And as you do, you will see that the greatest transformation begins within yourself. By understanding yourself, you gain the wisdom to understand others. By understanding others, you gain the ability to guide, inspire, and change lives. This is the power of awareness, reflection, and connection. And it all begins with asking and answering the 5 simple questions. Final motivation. The mind reader within you. At the end of the day, my friend, every human being longs to be understood. We want someone to truly listen, not just hear the words we speak. We want someone to see us, not just look at us. There is a deep craving in all of us to feel acknowledged, to feel that our thoughts, feelings, and dreams matter. And here is the secret. When you become that person, the one who listens deeply, asks the right questions, and understands without judging, you become unforgettable. People naturally gravitate toward you. They trust you. They respect you. They follow your lead, not because you demand it, but because they feel safe, seen, and valued in your presence. True power is not found in control or manipulation. True power is found in understanding. And that understanding begins with the 5 questions you have learned today. Each question is a doorway, a tool to connect deeply, to see beyond the surface, and to touch the hearts of those around you. When used with care, empathy, and awareness, these questions can transform not only your relationships, but also your own growth and self-understanding. This is where my channel, English Achieve, comes in, helping you grow wiser, stronger, and more fluent, not just in English, but in life itself. Each lesson is designed to give you tools to improve your mind, your awareness, and your ability to connect with others meaningfully. You don't need magic to read minds. You need empathy, awareness, and the courage to ask and listen. And when you do, you will start seeing the world and yourself with new eyes. Conversations will become more meaningful, relationships will become richer, and your ability to navigate life with insight and calm confidence will grow exponentially. So go out there, ask, listen, understand, and grow. Because when you learn to read people, you learn to master life. This is your invitation to practice, to reflect, and to become someone who inspires trust, respect, and genuine connection. One question at a time.